In this video, I'm just going to give you a quick update on the Plumeria. If you followed me throughout the years, you know that I did try to grow most of my Plumeria in ground, and as of last year, ended up pulling almost all of those out except for one, just because it is a challenge in our climate to grow Plumeria in ground. And it's not summer that's the issue, but winter. If you're willing to put up a cold frame, put frost cloth over that, and even a heat source every year to keep these warm above freezing, then you can absolutely grow these in ground. Over the years, I've just found that that's just not worth it, and have opted to go the container route instead. So you can see I'm standing near my pond, a goldfish pond, and my whole Plumeria collection, other than the one Inca Gold in ground, is right here, and they're all in containers. So just to run through what I've got now, this here is a flamingo. This is an Inca Gold that I actually rooted over the winter. Really beautiful formation. Decided to just keep these. Inca Gold is one that I just love, so having multiple copies of this is great. It's a nice thing with Plumerias, it's fairly easy to root. So I actually did quite a few of these. So here's another one that I rooted this year that's in bloom. This variety is a Veracruz Rose. This one is Veracruz Ludica. This one here is Thumbelina. Moving over here, you can see here's another Inca Gold that I rooted. It's in bloom. Divine. Such an amazing fragrance from this one. Another one in bloom right now is my Exquisite. Absolutely love the color on this Plumeria. And the scent is not real strong, but it's unusual. It has a peppermint, kind of candied peppermint smell to the bloom. This one here is a Snow White. Bloom right now, but this is a Bali Whirl. I really like this variety for just being a little bit more unusual in its leaf formation and also the form of the bloom. This variety here is Jenny. See, that's in full bloom. Really pretty Plumeria. Gives off a slight fruity peach aroma. This one here is my Firestorm. This tall plant here is Sahara. This variety here is Navita. You can see it's not in bloom yet, but getting there soon. And this variety is the unknown white variety that I got from Hawaii. So the main thing that I like about the container growing is really the winter. It's pretty simple. I just take these into the garage. I don't have any hassle. Clearly these are not going to get as big as they would in ground, but I also don't face that challenge of potentially losing these Plumerias to rot from the weather. I just want to share my routine with you on what I do to get these started again for the year. So once our nighttime temperatures are above 50, I will take these out of the garage and put them back outside. At that point, there's no chance of them getting damaged from the cold. And what I'll typically do at that point is, if I want to up-pot a Plumeria where it's gotten too big for its pot, I'll go ahead and do that at that time. If I want to keep it in the current container, I'll do some root pruning. When you keep hydrophobic media like peat moss dry for months, you know, in a garage situation where you're overwintering, you definitely want to rehydrate that soil. Put down a wetting agent so that it can absorb water again and hold that moisture. I'll maybe put in a tablespoon of yucca wet into a container this size to hydrate maybe teaspoon on a smaller container and really soak that in. Then the other thing that I'll do is add some elemental sulfur. So I do this maybe twice a year, once every 3 months during the growing season, just because Plumeria favor a lower pH, and our water obviously has a high pH. So the elemental sulfur helps knock that down and just allows the plant better ability to take up nutrients. And the final thing I'll do is feed. So I actually take the easy route on these and do an Excalibur time-released food. It's something that's good for 6 months, so it's a once-a-year application. So I'll just feed according to the directions on the back, based on how large the Plumeria is. And on watering, I'm watering these about once a week. Plumeria can hold a lot of water into these branches, so you don't need to constantly water them. They can and should dry out in between waterings. I'll probably up the watering frequency once we, hit more in the range of 110s and beyond. The extreme heat, just because there is some transpiration that's going to obviously happen through the leaves, and the plant's going to need a little bit more moisture during those high heat times. But that's about it. So not much care involved. So clearly you can't eat these, but Plumeria is the epitome of a tropical plant, in my opinion. Exquisite fragrances from a lot of these varieties, and the color I don't think can be beat. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this quick update and tour. Thanks for watching, and happy gardening.